Welcome to the Hot Girl School, the podcast where we redefine confidence and go way beyond the reflection you see in the mirror.
We're your hosts, Lauren and Danielle, here to empower you to embrace your inner radiance because confidence is so much more than looks.
Whether you're strutting into an event or conquering the boardroom, join us as we explore topics like self-love, inner strength, and owning your unique journey to confidence.
So grab your favorite drinky and turn up that volume because you're about to unleash your true potential. Welcome to the Hot Girl School.
First time in studio.
Woo! How do you like our sign? We are obsessed. Danielle is the one who hung it, and it looks beautiful, and it's perfectly framed, and we're just so excited.
So part of being a hottie is being honest. Can't take the credit. Thank you, Joey. That's my husband.
Oh, yeah. He did the hanging. He did a good job. Like I said, I would have hung it high. I don't know why I would have, but the chairs and we're sitting, obviously that makes a little more sense.
I was very scared. I put tape up and was like, I think this is going to work. And look, it does.
Dude, it looks
Here we are.
So good. We're so excited about it.
It's so much better being in person. It's so much better being in person. And there's just like a different
energy.
Vibes.
We can look at each other.
Yes. Your beautiful face.
Totally. And the big smile and the lion mane that she has.
Thank you.
We love the hair. So, what do we want to talk about today?
Well, we want to talk about what our listeners want us to talk about, right?
We got some good feedback.
We recently launched an episode about trusting yourself, and we got a ton of questions about how to build confidence when you're single. So
this is one of our favorite topics.
Yes.
At least mine, because I'm more recently single than you.
Yeah, but the reason that my marriage is successful, I attribute to the work I did when I was single. Right?
That's strong.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody heard that because a lot of people tend to just jump from relationship to relationship trying to mask whatever problem is the true root of the problem.
Yep.
And they just think that the next person is going to, I don't know, fix. And instead of moving forward in a positive way, you're just bringing all the baggage with you and it keeps showing up and you're like, why are none of my relationships working out?
Well, and so I think maybe because everybody does this, I know you and I have talked about it, we both have, where you repeat the same scenario. And so I call it like you haven't learned the lesson. And so that's why it's happening again. So for our single ladies out there that keep dating the same asshole, you got to learn your lesson. You got to learn your lesson.
And
right?
it's hard. It's a hard place to be. And this is also for the girls, in my opinion, who are in relationships they don't want to be in. Nothing necessarily has to be wrong. Plenty of people are in relationships where there are things wrong, but there are some girls who are just like, I'm just not in love with him anymore. And that's still a reason to get out of the relationship. So we want to explain to people today why you shouldn't be scared.
Yeah, to be single. Right?
I think it's the best thing you can do for yourself. Hands down, best thing I've ever done for myself is be single.
So let's just and then you're probably going to tell me stuff I haven't heard yet, which is really fun.
Yeah, we're going to keep learning about each other.
Yeah. So tell me like two big tips that you would two big takeaways from when you were getting more confident as a single person that you think were really impactful that could help some listeners that are trying to build confidence as a single person.
I feel like I know I've said this one in a previous episode, but it was by far the most profound thing I've done, which is being single and celibate. Because when we're single, we like the attention. We want to make sure we still got it. So we just kind of dabble. And sometimes it's just text messages. Sometimes you're not actually going on dates, but you still need to feel good. Like your ego needs to hear that you're still pretty and you're hot and people want you. And when you can quiet that noise in your head and actually enjoy and ask yourself, do I want to do this? What do I want to do tonight? Where do I stand? What's my energy level? Do I like this friend? It's all encompassing. It's not just a relationship. And then to be celibate, if I personally think that being celibate forces you to almost reevaluate the magnitude of the seriousness of what sex means.
Yeah.
Because
the emotions run deep and that you catch feelings, it changes everything. And then it also sort of clouds your mind to maybe the sex was really fucking good.
Yeah.
And so you're like, hell yeah, this is awesome. But then all these things that actually matter from a relationship standpoint, they're not there.
And when those aren't in place, you keep trying to make it work because the sex is good, or vice versa. Maybe the sex isn't that great. Like I've definitely gone on dates with somebody where like he wasn't a good kisser, but I loved everything about him. I was like, I'm going to make this work. And I'm like, okay, this just isn't working. So being honest with yourself, that's another one. Damn, that's a good one.
I feel like too, because everybody seeks outside validation. Everybody does it. You do it with men, you do it professionally, you do it with family. It happens everywhere. So I think one tip that I didn't plan on sharing, but I thought of it as you were saying part of your stuff about being single and like getting hit on and those types of things, like that makes everyone feel good. We all want that attention, like cute outfit. Like we talked about power of compliments, right?
Yes.
But something to maybe take inventory of for yourself is, am I using that to establish my self-worth?
And that's why like the true definition of being single is not having anyone around.
Yeah.
If you get asked out on a date, you say no. And it's not no right now. It's no, I'm working on myself, which I think we've already talked about. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
But you have to truly say no and be okay with it. So taking that one step further and not going on dates and not entertaining the attention. And when
getting comfortable by not doing that, you'll learn, am I validating myself? Am I using that as a way to create my self-worth? If you can turn it down and not need it, that'll be your answer. That's how you answer the question for yourself.
And it takes time. It's super uncomfortable at first because we want it. I mean,
everyone wants it.
I was going to say you're married and I'm in a very serious relationship and it still feels good to get hit on. Like secretly inside your ego's like, hell yeah, I still got it. Yeah.
Still got it.
So it doesn't go away just because you're in a relationship. Let's be very, very clear.
Sure.
But when you're single, if you are truly looking for someone or again, trying to like put that quick Band-Aid on, you're like, oh, he'll do. And let's add alcohol into that element. If you are not in a place where you should be going on dates and then you start drinking with somebody who you don't really like, now you've just got like a whole catastrophe.
All hell breaks loose. It can get bad real quick. Okay, so single and celibate is such a good one. And definitely something, I don't think I intentionally did it in some of the ways that like we've talked about, but I definitely did that. And it is really, really helpful to just, it takes all the cloudiness, like clear the clouds.
Yeah. Well, you think again, okay, so if you think about like how easy it is to kiss someone, right? It's so easy, again, especially if you're drinking and it's fun and it's kind of in building and then you have like that first kiss and then it becomes very easy to have sex. But if you...
The butterflies, the excitement, everybody can relate to that feeling.
And especially if there's like real big sexual chemistry, you're kind of dying to have sex with them, right? So when you don't have sex for a while, that makes you ask yourself when you're out and even in the moment with a few drinks and you're like, oh, are you the first person I like want to re-enter into the world with sexually?
Yeah.
And that's a powerful feeling. Like, no, I really
You're
don't.
taking your power back.
Yes.
In a way.
And being
like,
honest with
you don't need to give that freely, even though it's fun, but it makes things cloudy.
I feel like sex has become so normal to just like skip everything else. You don't have to be in a relationship. You don't even have to go on a date. They don't even have to open a door for you, but like they expect to have sex with you.
Yeah.
And that's where
I never did the dating app world. It's fascinating to me. I missed it. I was right on the cusp. I missed it. And I think it's crazy. And I think that there's pros and cons.
Yes.
Because some of the ways that our world has changed just made it a little bit harder to build easy connections. But it has also created this unlimited expectation of like, there's unlimitedness out there. There's unlimited women. And so it almost like, in a way, has harmed things in my opinion, because it's just easy to be like, nope, next.
Oh yeah. So in 2015, I was on dating apps. I was on Tinder and Bumble because I think that's pretty much all that was around.
Sure.
And then in 2019 or 20, maybe beginning of 20, I was also on dating apps, and that's 5 years apart. And there were the same guys still on there.
No,
I know. And they're good looking guys. So I'm very confused. Yeah. How are these boys still single? And I'm like, oh, maybe they're just on my timeline taking like a very naive approach. And I realized, which I never met up with any of them, but
they're meeting other girls on all the sites.
And they only have to get so far into the relationship, take you out, spend a few $100 on dinner, entertain you through text messages, probably get laid and disappear and start the cycle over again. That's the only thing I could come up with.
That's where I'm like, that's for sure happening. That's for sure. I mean, I bet you that's happened to any of you, let us know. Like, let's
Yeah.
take a poll, because I'm sure, see,
I've been duped. I've been duped.
yeah, like dating catfished, but in the opposite, like they were really them. They did show up, but all the things they said weren't real.
Yes.
That's a problem, right? So, and I think that feeds into also like your expectations. I think that having that list of expectations, like build that while you're single to figure out true deal breakers. But you also have to, because there's unlimitedness out there, I feel like that has made our lists longer, at least friends that I know of that are single and things like that. So you also really want to be honest.
Yes.
Is that really a deal breaker, or am I making it a deal breaker because I think the grass is greener somewhere else and I could meet that person? Like, don't settle. I'm not saying to settle by any stretch, but I think that the dating app world has created this toxicity around dating in a way.
Ooh, I've never linked those two words together.
That it's a little toxic because you have this exposure. It's a lot of time and energy and output.
Yeah.
And you have this list and you're searching through the profiles and everybody's lying on those things. Give me everybody.
I wasn't, like, their pictures.
Yeah, like they're going a little above and beyond. They're putting their best foot forward. It's like a resume. You're
okay,
like,
wait, can I just go on a quick time to the narcissistic psychopath that I dated, the real toxic one? He explained to me how he put his Tinder profile together. Again, this is back in 2015.
Oh,
and he said you have to have a solo picture. You have to have a picture with your friends. You have to have a picture traveling. You have to have a picture with your mom, and you have to have a picture playing sports. I don't know how many pictures you get now.
There was no animal?
He didn't have one.
Dog?
Yeah, he didn't have one, but that's probably along the lines of like the mom, right?
Sure.
And he goes, those are all the things that girls are looking for: that you like to travel, that you have money to travel, that you're close with your mom, that you have friends, because then you're not a freak. And what was the last one? Oh, sports. And that you're athletic. And when I kind of like took that inventory, I was like, damn, that's literally like so manipulative, but so true at the same time.
It's kind of, it's accurate. It's accurate.
But if that's how you think, that's what you're putting out there. That's not who he is.
Sure.
I mean, it is who he is, but there's way more to it. But, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when people get strategic about it, that also creates a trap.
See, it's fat. Like
and we don't want you to fall into this. This is like, it's okay to not be on there. And if you are, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, because it does give you access. Let's say the positive. It gives you access to people you would never have access to.
Or to practice, right? To practice. Getting comfortable dating. Like, you could also use it as a practice, but you have your boundaries of, I'm not sleeping with you. I'm not making out with you. I'm going to go practice and try and weed through and find the deal breakers. Like, I want you. Let's carry it on. Like, not just one night things.
Yeah.
But use it as practice.
Yeah. And you'll see where they stand with you. I mean, that's the truth. You really just want to know if somebody likes you for you. Although you will have the occasional guy who, like, you wait a month to sleep with them. You talk to them every day. You see them often, and then you finally do, and everything changes. That still exists.
Sure. It's also a rite of passage. Like, it's going to happen.
It's totally going to happen.
It happened to both of us. It's going to happen to you if it hasn't already. It's just part of growing up.
Yes. Okay. So being single, that's like one piece. I like that. Let's use it as practice.
Yeah. Use it as practice. And don't be afraid to, like, go old school. Walk up to somebody at the gym. Say hi to a guy at the coffee shop. Like, practice that too, because those skills are valuable in friendship making, as a professional, in networking. And you can start there. You can take the pressure off of the dating side and start just by approaching people for a friendship or a professional connection, and then dip the toe into the dating side.
I think that's the best advice, because if you can really reframe what you're doing, and you're not thinking like, oh, I think he's so cute, I want to introduce myself, but you're thinking, okay, I'm going to introduce myself and see how I can improve myself for the next one, or if this works. When you look at it, I guess it's a little bit businessy, but if you look at it as just like a trial and error, there's such a different outcome, because you're not attached. You're attached to improving yourself and improving your skills. And that builds confidence to go up and walk up to somebody and introduce yourself. That's hard.
Okay, love this. So the takeaway is, maybe go practice introducing yourself to somebody, whether it's friendship, professional, or you think somebody's really cute, and approach it with the mindset of, I'm working to improve myself.
Dude, that is 100%. Do you have a story of when you've hit on a guy that's not an easy story? Like, weren't just like at a bar and looked over and walked over to him, like something a little bit more.
So fun fact, friends, hotties. I have been with my husband for 13 years. We have been married for 7. So let me just like go back in the history books here. Ding, ding, ding. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know I have one.
You have to.
Yeah, I
you
know
have
I
the
have one.
personality that would hit on somebody.
Oh, I am not shy. So, but that comes naturally to me.
Yes.
So you have to remember, like, we're all created different, right? So I'm not afraid to be like, hey, what are you doing here? Hey, I like your shirt.
Right.
Hey,
That's all they need.
What coffee did you get? Like, it's as easy as that.
Those are great examples. They just need a door opener.
Just a door opener. And usually, like, here's the thing. I love this one. This is a tip that I was told when I was trying to get good at public speaking. Is everybody says like, oh, picture the audience naked. That doesn't work.
No,
that doesn't work. That just takes your brain into different places. So the tip is we all put our clothes on the same way. We all put our pants on the exact same way. Everybody's trying to figure it out. The guy that thinks you're cute is as nervous to approach you as you are to approach them. So try it.
Totally.
Try it. And then you'll go, okay, that wasn't so bad. You'll repeat it more. You'll get better at it. You'll figure out your lines. You'll figure out what works, but don't overcomplicate it. Hey, I like your shirt.
Yeah. And keep it walking. If you're like nervous, just keep it moving and they'll be like, hey, that's a good one. That's always mine. I'm like, hey, I think you're cute. I'm Lauren. I think you're cute. And I just keep walking and they'd like grab an elbow, you know, they'd be like, wait, where are you going? And I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah, it's not
like I can be strategic too. Okay.
And let me tell you this, the eye connection, that really works.
You don't get that in dating apps.
You do not get that, and that's part of it. Right. Mm-hmm. So that was like my go-to is like, you really lock eyes, you give a little smile, and that's the door opener.
The nonverbal communication strategy tactic is what
and
I
like
wanted to say.
Hold it a little long. Like, let's do it. For those of you that are watching,
so like if we're out, right?
So I think she's so hot, right? I'm the dude.
This is my dream.
And she's trying to get my attention because she thinks I'm hot too. So try it.
So it's just kind of like
you see how awkward?
So simple.
It's so simple. And like when you try and do it, you're like, oh, whoa, it doesn't have to be too long, but it has to be a little bit long. And then a cute little smile or a wave or a shoulder.
Yeah. Like there's so many different ways to do it. And it's finding your style.
Yes.
Like I think I'm like I maybe even be a winker. I don't know if that's cute.
I could see that. I was definitely a smile. I was definitely an eye contact smile person for sure. And then just not being afraid to start a conversation. And it can be like, what are you drinking?
Right.
Have you eaten here before? Is there anything good on the menu?
Totally.
I'm trying to get a new coffee. What do you like?
It's so
easy. Anything.
And I don't think that it's probably important to say, if you get rejected because they're married or they're in a relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. We're practicing. Yeah. And that's okay.
Look out for rings. Let's be respectful. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't think that needed to be said, but I like that you just threw
I
it out there.
I feel like it does. This day and age is wild. Like, let's be respectful.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Nobody who's on purpose married.
Yeah. That is not hot, by the way. So if that is you are not a hottie.
Yeah, no.
Be a hottie.
Be respectful. Obviously, if someone's engaged or in a relationship, there's really no way to tell that. Like if the wife,
totally,
right, got a nice watch, we don't know who bought that. So,
yep,
just the ring.
Just look for the rings. Look out for those things.
Hilarious. Okay, what are your tips for being single? How did you overcome any insecurities? If yours are not to hit on someone, what did you have to overcome?
So I think for me, I'm a Libra, so I love. And I think I was like a back-to-back relationship person. Oh. So it was more, and it wasn't, I was cheated on. I had like those things that happen to people. I didn't have anything too wild. And that stems from a story for another day from childhood. But the reason why I made an intentional choice before I met Joey to really be single and quote unquote find myself is because I understood the power of really knowing who you are makes you show up better in any relationship, friendship, professional, definitely in a romantic relationship. Absolutely. So what I really did when I was single is I focused on figuring out some of the things we talked about, like what are my non-negotiables? What do I really want in a partner? And how can I make sure that those expectations are things I'm also willing to provide? Because I think that sometimes, especially when we're younger, we have expectations of others that we're not willing to give.
And can I add on to that?
Yeah.
So expectation of the timeline of your life. Mm-hmm. I'm very much one of those.
Yeah. Timeline of kids, of money, of how
What
we're gonna
age you're gonna get married
grow,
at.
what are we gonna spend on our wedding, how, like
Yep.
what are our big picture things, like politics. These are all things that you should be
Very
talking about.
important.
So I really took the time to, and I had a lot of fun when I
Yeah.
had my like intentional single period, and I did stuff for me, and I felt like it was the first time. I'm very much a caretaker. I'm somebody
Mhm.
that'll like jump in and problem solve.
I was just gonna say problem solve.
Yep, I will problem solve and tell me if you don't like. I have to say to my husband, like, okay, I hear you. Do you want solutions or are you venting? Right?
It makes a difference in how
Yeah.
you show up and how he's gonna feel comfortable
100%.
speaking whatever he needs to say.
So definitely did I didn't intentionally do the single and celibate, but I did it because I didn't want that to be the connection starter.
Right.
Like I didn't want that to be the foundation. Like, oh, we have good sex, so that let's build from there. I wanted to
Yeah.
like, let's build from a foundation of like, what do you actually want? What do I want? Do those things align?
And those
And
are
then
hard
see where it goes.
conversations.
Yeah.
Because I'm 39 and still not married, we'll say I'm not single, but I'm not married, watching all these girlfriends go through their first marriage, 26 to 30, and they're telling me the conversations that they're having with these men who are going to be their husbands about children, about politics, about how we're going to raise our children religiously and what schools we want to go to and all these things. And I'm sitting there like, those conversations were way beyond me because I just was not in a relationship that was like that, or I was single.
Sure.
And so it really was eye-opening. Like my friends almost paved the way for me. And
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
so wonderful. And in hindsight, this is a little personal. I am so glad that I never got married. I probably could have been married at some point. And watching my friends go through what they've been through, I've learned a lot, and from their mistakes. And I couldn't be more grateful that I've made the decision not to get married to some of those people that I was pining away for, or maybe just wanted to get married because it was time. Like the desperation kicks in.
That takes a lot of confidence.
It takes a lot of confidence. And there's a lot of tears and a lot of dates and a lot of drinking and a lot of drugs and like trying to get,
right?
So many
mistakes.
So many levels. And trying to get through that, because it's easy to feel like you're not getting chosen when everybody is getting married around you.
100%.
And that is a shitty feeling. Let me tell you. But not everybody that's getting married, it doesn't mean that they're happy.
Well, and people rush into things and they think that it makes sense. And if they have, and that's why it's so important to do the work while you're single. And everybody has a different timeline.
Yep.
So anybody who I'm sure there's people listening that just heard Lauren say that and they were like, fuck, that's me.
But it's also out of your control.
Yeah.
If you do something out of desperation, which I'm sure when you were single, you're like, all right, he'll do.
100%.
It's
settling.
Easy to settle. Yeah, it's easy to
settling. Yeah.
And then what? You're stuck with the shit you settled with.
And then you're unpacking a huge problem later.
Oh, even bigger. And you have another breakup to go through.
So I think that that's one of the tips, right? Is getting comfortable going, this isn't it, and walking away from it. That is owning your power. That is being super confident.
And recognizing it early.
Well, and it's short-term pain for long-term gain. It's the opposite.
The quicker
right?
you can move those idiots out of the way that don't work for you, the quicker your person's going to show up. Because like you said, you keep getting tested.
Well, and we've talked about this, right? That it's you showing up as a better version of yourself is attracting better versions of humans to come into you. So if you're willing to put in the work, you're naturally going to be rewarded. We're super spiritual, like universe people. And I wholeheartedly believe that you showing up in a different way. It's sort of like, that's why friendships come and go. That's why you have the different relationships, is as you continue to grow, you're leveling up, and the people that are on that new level will show up for you.
And it feels good once you notice that, oh, I've kind of been wanting a friend like this. And then they show up.
Yep.
You're going, okay, so now whatever I'm doing, I want to keep on that track, because you are bringing in exactly what you wanted.
You are literally like, our friendship is a testament to that.
Oh, yeah.
Like Joey, we were having conversations that I'm like, I need friends that are drivers, that are going places, that are goal setted, that are wanting bigger things, that can talk about not just like personal things, but business things and all of the above. And that's you.
And then it shows up, and it's fun. And when you recognize it, you're like, oh, damn, like I actually made this shit happen.
Yep.
I'm powerful. That's a good affirmation. I'm powerful.
Yes.
I love that one.
Okay. So let's summarize. So we have single and celibate.
Always.
look inside.
Yes.
Look inside and be honest. Like, what do you need to work on? Where are you feeling insecure? Where are there maybe some concerns that you're like, this could show up in a bad way in a relationship? I definitely did that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And journaling really helps with that
Journaling
as
helps.
a tip.
Yeah.
And then,
not doing things out of desperation.
yep.
That's a big one.
So setting your boundaries.
Eye contact.
Eye
That's your
contact.
homework. That's actually homework.
Eye contact, or like a quick little like conversation start. And it doesn't like start small. If you're really worried about hitting on somebody, I'm sure there's somebody in your life that you see that you kind of have a crush on and you're like, gosh, I should just talk to him. Go do it.
Yeah, just
Go
try.
talk to him.
Don't
You
slide
never
into
know.
the DMs.
You
Do
never
it in
know what could
person.
happen.
Or practice with someone at Target or at the coffee shop. Just be like, oh, hey, what'd you get? That's just not even
Yes.
hitting. It can be a woman or the same sex or different sex, but there's not a sexual intention behind it or romantic.
Sure.
Just if you're very shy,
Practice.
that's a good start.
So practice. And then I just thought of one you saying that is, this isn't a tip. This is like a what not to do.
Ooh.
So a what not to do is if you are deep in the dating world, which I get it. If I became single tomorrow, I would be using the dating apps.
Yeah.
So if that's you, don't build a relationship through texts or through
Oh,
DMs.
that's like,
it's never going to work.
no. And then you get in
And
person.
don't get attached and like, don't get caught up in
or a fake relationship.
Yeah. The back and forth, like relationships are built together in person like this.
Yes.
Where you can read body language. You can actually touch the person. Right. So what not to do is don't build relationships and get caught up, catch feelings through DMs or text messaging.
And this is going to, which we have said in previous episodes, follow the actions. Remove every single thing they've ever said to you and look at the actions. Are they consistent? Do they show up? Do they blow you off? Like, what are they doing to tell you that they want to be a part of your life? And if there is nothing except for good sex, they are telling you through their actions. That is a huge takeaway.
People show you
literally
what they think of you by how they treat you. So if they're not booking the next date, they're not making the phone call, they're not sending you the good morning text that you asked for, they don't care. So when people show you who they are, believe them.
That's a hard one. I have to say
it's very hard
because back to being clouded and love is blind. And I'm not saying you're in love with this person, but truly love is blind. That's a quote for a reason, because
it's also a TV show that everybody watches now. That's interesting.
Oh, never seen it.
Wait, no, it's not. It's called Love Island.
No, I think there's a show called Love is Blind. And they talk in separate rooms. Maybe I have seen it. Okay. Right. So that, well, not, that's
I've seen that. I've seen one season of that. Thank you, Pam Hernandez. That's a shout out for you.
Keeping us young.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actions over words.
Actions over words.
All day, every day. That's a huge one.
Okay, so we gave you a long summary.
Yeah, this
you
was
got
a
work
good
to
one.
do.
Yeah.
You got work to do.
We want to hear.
We want to hear.
Bring it back.
So for those of you that submitted topics and feedback, that is so fun. Like, we love that so much. So keep it coming.
Yes.
And if you're let's dive deep on something else, send it our way.
Yep. We're here for you. And if you haven't been through it or you want to throw it our way, one of us has definitely been through it, because between the two of us, somehow we have a lot of experience.
We have a lot of life. And if we haven't, we can always bring on a guest that has.
Absolutely. So you can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and then Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
All right, hotties. We'll see you next
School is out.
week. Bye.